ladies and gentlemen, the boys. The boys are back in town. And holy crap, what a start to their return. One of the all-time leading idealistic, well, like, not idealistic, but one of the, like, biggest names in capitalism versus one of the biggest names in socialism / communism / it honestly, here's my whole deal with it. I know that it's gonna be a bit of a train wreck in the comment section down below, but honestly, I've read up on both of these guys, and here's what I'll say: Karl Marx, idealistically, I mean, dreaming of a more perfect society where workers' rights are held in the highest esteem and everything. On the ground level, if you don't understand history, it all works perfect. It should work perfectly, but unfortunately, it doesn't take into account humanity and the history of how humanity has always been. I hate to say it, but there are always going to be advantageous people, even in the perfect society where everybody works together for the unified advancement of humanity. There are always going to be people, and no matter what system, whether that be a privatized system or a entirely workers' utopia, there will always be people who seek to have power and will seek to shift the board in their favor. I hate to say it, but it's just a fact of human nature. And Henry Ford, a purebred capitalist, one of the purebred capitalists that everybody remembers, modernizing the assembly line and making it to where the automobile could be mass produced. Contrary to a lot of people out there, the popular theory that, Henry Ford invented the automobile. No, he didn't. He made one of the first easily manufactured automobiles that was dependable. I mean, the Model T Ford is still considered one of the greatest vehicles of all time, and it's an absolute, by today's standards, it's an absolute piece of garbage. But for the time, literally a machine that could carry your entire family, all of your luggage and everything from one place to another. Think about that. I know that we live in an era where, automobiles are literally all over the place. And by the standard of which, we carry things around now, we have a utilitarian device that is just always, it's our telephone, it's our camera, it's our notepad, it's our calendar system, it's our
encyclopedia,
it's our map system. We don't have to carry around those big road atlases anymore. You don't have to have a writing desk with a pen and quill to write stuff down. Literally, the utilitarian purpose of here's the thing: that true capitalism in its purest form is anyone and everyone can form a startup, and whomever does it the best thrives, whereas everyone else either falls by the wayside, goes to work for the person who did do the best, or finds another thing to devote their time to. Venture capitalism and everything in that regard, I mean, and what we have nowadays isn't really capitalism. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's more along the line of almost full-on corporatism. And what I hate is the fact that basically due to there's supposed to be anti-monopoly and antitrust laws that basically prevent that shit from happening, but it hasn't happened. Instead, all they have to do is literally change their name to something else, and it's it's a whole new company. That's you want to know why you can't call Facebook Incorporated anymore? Because they shifted over to Meta. Same thing with Google. It's no longer the Google company. It's the Alphabet company. Like, this is what they do. This is how they do it every time. And I just hate the fact that this, like basically, instead of, having it to where people can form startups and everything like that and form their own way and everything, instead, the game is rigged against them from the start, and there's no chance in hell of them ever getting past a certain level. It's like, they get up so high up on the chain, next thing you know, here comes Google, and they're like, oh, we'll buy your thing out from under you for $50 million. You tell me anybody out there who has worked their ass off for 10 straight years, and then all of a sudden a big fucking company comes out of nowhere and says, hey, here's $50 million for your idea. Honestly, I think you'd be hard pressed to find anybody who would turn that down. I don't think there's a soul out there who would turn that down. That's literally the amount of money we're talking about. It's literally fuck you money. It's like, oh, you have an idea that can compete with us within 5 years? Nah, fuck you. We're buying it out from under you. That's basically what these companies have. But epic rap battles of history. Henry Ford versus Karl Marx. What freaking battle to start out with? Might as well.
To be honest,
yeah.
I don't consider myself educated enough about economy or either of these two historical figures to have very strong opinions about this particular matchup. So
I wish that
I'm just
Micah,
here out of necessity for.
Well, I know if Micah were here, he would be spouting libertarian philosophies. And plus, Micah has...
I wish it were possible to have him over for this, because he'd be way better to sit in with us than I am.
Unfortunately, Micah has, basically, because of family stuff, he is tied up all the way up until New Year's. Yeah. So, we won't see him until New Year's.
Micah reacts to this later on down the line when you have him over.
Yeah, we'll have to. But, honestly, knowing Micah, he would probably agree with me on a lot of things. Micah and I, we agree on a lot of things philosophically, but I will say this. Me and him have had disagreements on, for me, I believe that there is a balance in the system where you can have governmental oversight on certain things. Whereas, maintaining, private industry, of course, but having governmental oversight that will prevent bigger companies from completely just coming in and one-shotting these smaller companies that don't have a snowball's chance in hell of ever succeeding, especially when they're they're throwing that much money around. But Karl Marx and his idealistic way of looking at things was the workers are in control of the means of production. Basically, it's like, okay, so how it would work under Marx's system would be like all the workers would come together, form a united union, and basically they would purchase the stuff necessary in order to build a plant or build a place together, and they would then produce things where the workers would receive 100% of the benefits all the time until the end of time. That was Marx's idealistic way of doing things. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen in the real world, because unfortunately, when you get enough people together, there's always going to be a select group who always want to be at the head. They're always raising their hand, be like, I'm actually investing more in this, so I think I should have a little bit more of a vested interest in this. And then all of a sudden they get called a bourgeoisie pig, and next thing you know, everything falls apart. Whereas under venture capitalism...
Whereas what usually seems to happen when they try to implement that system is somehow they end up with a dictator and they end up killing a whole lot of people for some reason.
Well, I hate to say it, but how did, I forget who said it. It was Stalin or Lenin. It's just it's like enemies can't hurt you if they're dead. It's like basically
you're considering your own people the enemy.
Yes.
Kind of a psychopath.
Yes.
There's always going to be psychopaths in society. And there's
always
somebody who's going to pick up a gun.
Always. And
if everybody else has agreed to nonviolence and one guy picks up a gun, guess who's suddenly in charge?
Also,
Guy with the gun.
Also, for those of you out there wondering, like, why it's so easy to rule? It's like, no, it isn't. Because there's actually a video by CGP Grey called Rules for Rulers, and it shows you how complex ruling a society is from, like, a society that takes a lot of people to run it, like a democracy, versus ones that take very few people to run it, dictatorships, where basically it's just like, democracy is, we're in this together, we're in this together, let's work together. Whereas a dictatorship is literally, fuck you, obey the law. That's literally how it works. But anyway, we've ranted and raved on this enough. Henry Ford versus Karl Marx, let's get into it. This is Epic Rap Battles of History. Here we go. Good to be back, baby.
This is how I got my start now. Watch me tear your ideology apart. You scream, unite the workers, free the class slaves. Lose your chains, trade them in for mass graves. I would stop it.
That's true.
When a world leader likes you, that's a red flag. I produce with my two hands. You're a destitute tramp. Scheming to trade bootstraps in for food stamps. Any person tried to seize my private property will catch a torn press to his private parts property.
Ooh.
I wouldn't wipe my tailpipe with your DOS capital. If you'd saved the penny for his daughter you named Jenny, you might not have needed to bury quite so many. Who's that alien heavy drinking card carrying? Future thinking legal letter ink proletariat? It's Karl Marx. Prepare to be rhinestone. I'm dropping you like Hitler dropped your name in Mein Kampf. My codes of didn't call.
Ouch.
Get that from books, but you didn't read shit. Your self-made man studies them from a tourist. Your daddy's two hands gave you a free fall and forest. You were the first of 6 kids till the 7th killed your mother. Maybe that's why you smiled at your workers like Big Brother. Your Model D, total lack of style is killing me. They can take shit from you according to ability. Do what your first car can't and back up. Beating is like your city in Brazil. Nuts! Don't
That's
that
true.
without some beer shampoo, son. You lived in Cologne. Look like you could have used some.
Ouch.
Style like a dipstick drips oil. You look as sick as your chronic dick boil.
Ouch! Jesus!
Hobo, I'm throwing you for loops like the F in my logo. I gave men work, you brought nothing but harm. Take your blues, white pig shit back to Animal Farm.
Ouch! Wow!
Cranking out for 7 fingers a week. You controlled what employees could think, drink, and eat. And when they marched for better wages, shot them dead in the street. In truth,
Ouch, that's true too.
who would clock into Detroit and lose themselves like Eminem. And now your Great Lakes State ain't exactly a great sight. You were west of Michigan and Flint's water pipe.
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah.
You're not hot, Carl. That's just shit on your chest. For a man to state less, you got an awful lot to say. I pay you $5 a day to go away. Bloody Angles bankrolled you with this textile bill. I guess the capitalists are cool when they're paying your bills. You're a hypocrite.
That's true.
Step off your soapbox. Take the soap with you. Look, dummy, shedding money is the communist vision. Engels Bank was the crank that got the revolution spinning. We gave everything to see the common people advance. I'm so down with the cause, I even pawned my own pants. You grew so out of touch, you sabotaged your only kid. It's a stomach cancer.
Ouch.
Your legacy that
Yeah.
remembered as the fascist sympathizing cause of climate change and car crashes. From your newspaper to your Nazi factory, cross the pause. Frankly, Hagen's clear as which side you are on. This battle.
Damn.
Like that hemorrhage in your head. Leave a floor as expected. Found on road dead.
Damn. Okay. I don't. Wow. Okay.
To be honest, it might be the voice he went with and the speed of it or whatever. I don't exactly know, but wasn't catching any huge burns from Karl.
Well, not in the beginning, but second half where he brought up Flint, Michigan.
His last verse was the best.
Oh yeah, like
but for the most part, I feel like Henry just smeared him all over.
I think Henry had the overall better performance. Karl in the beginning was fairly basic, but second half, Karl pointed out some pretty big kerfuffles that Henry. I mean, Edsel, the workers' rights march that ended in a lot of bloodshed, and then of course his very, very bad practices on like environmental protection, which, yeah, there's a lot that went wrong with like Henry Ford and his empire that he built. And then of course Karl Marx, taking money from the banks to basically fund the revolution. But here's the problem with him doing that is when he did that, it basically had him be permanently branded as a hypocrite, even though his overall vision, like he was still trying to follow his overall vision. And in that regard, yeah, it's a little bit of a misstep for Karl Marx. I would say overall, I still give this to Henry Ford. I still think his rhymes and his stuff and everything, I still give like a 9 out of 10, whereas Karl Marx started out as a 5, but ended at like a 7. I mean, started out pretty mid, but at the end picked it up.
I'm going 99% off of which one made me laugh the most with this one.
Ford, yeah. Henry Ford brought the heat.
I know we're going to have some people who think that communism is the way in the comments. They're going to be pissed off at us for the way we've talked about it.
Let them be mad, dude. That's the thing.
To be honest, guys, I really don't care that much about what economy you think is the best economy. And you can think I'm an idiot for not caring.
Well, here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say. If you have an issue with the economy that you're in and everything like that, the government that you're in and everything like that, which country has the greater history of allowing you freedom of speech to be critical of these things? Because if you say, because I guarantee you go to most communist or socialist countries and you basically talk shit about the government, odds are you're going to have a bullet put in the back of your head.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas,
at the very least, you'll be in prison.
Whereas in the United States, I mean, don't get me wrong, heck, dude, even in other countries, like in the West, where capitalism is like the predominant structure, they're starting to crack down on stuff. Although they're cracking down on different stuff in terms of freedom of speech. You can be critical of the government all you want. Like, you can basically say we're all for communism, fuck capitalism, and this and that. You can people can stomp on the American flag, people can burn the American flag, people can do all these things. I dare you to go to any of the other countries that had communist rule and try to burn their flag and talk the same amount of shit about that government as the people in this country talk about ours.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have plenty of shit to say about our government. Don't get me wrong. I am very critical of our government. But at least I can do that.
Are we the greatest country in the world? Probably not.
Well,
but at least we're allowed to talk shit about everybody else.
Well, I would say that we are
our own country.
I would say that we are a great country in terms of the measure of what has been accomplished. I mean, and here's the thing. I take that with the good and the bad. I take the good, the great advancements that we have made as a society versus, the downsides, slavery and everything like that. I take America, as is. There's light side and dark side. I will say this, though. We sure as hell speed ran slavery. I mean, we had slavery legal in this country for less than 100 years, whereas the UK had it legal for almost, 800 years?
Really?
Yeah, because when William the Conqueror established the monarchy, that's officially recognized as the monarchy in the UK, 1066, slavery was legal all the way up until 1834. So almost 800 years of slavery.
Didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Pretty crazy, huh? And then, of course, Korea, for the longest time, 1,500 years. They had the longest unbroken chain of slavery in world history.
Jesus.
I know, right? That shit's crazy.
I mean, they essentially probably still have it in North Korea.
There's still plenty of places out there where slavery is legal. And that's the crazy part to me, is that it's still legal in some places, but almost nobody knows about it. And that's the shitty part. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I don't have anything else to say. This is a great ERB. In my mind, Henry Ford wins. Who do you all think won? Do you think Henry Ford won? And do you think Karl Marx won? Let us know down below who you think won. Let us know your favorite verses from this. And also, hey, big welcome back to ERB. Lloyd, Peter, you all, we have missed you guys so much, and we're glad to have you back. Hopefully, we will see more of you for the foreseeable future. We're still going to continue to support you on Patreon. It always and forever, my dudes. You all have been so cool with us, and you all have been super cool with everything that we've done and, supporting our reactions and everything like that. Thank you all so much, and we will continue to support you as long as you all want to keep doing this crazy thing. We'll always be there for you, boys. Well, I think that's going to do it for me. You got anything else to say, Nick?
Not really.
All right. Till next time, everyone. I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
Y'all be good people. Take care. Peace.